So you say, are you happy with it there? And I go, no, actually it was the wrong move, bring it back in.
Yeah, but I think that's a good example of like when it's on paper is the most cost effective time to change it.
Yeah.
I always say we can change it whenever you want,
Yeah.
but the later we leave it, the more it costs and the harder it gets. Hey, I'm Josh, a builder here in New Zealand. Today's video is all about design. And you literally squeeze that in. So Jeff, we're standing here in your master bedroom.
We are.
Probably the only time it's appropriate for me and you to be standing where your bed will be.
You can come in anytime.
This is a good spot to talk about your design because we've got a walk-in wardrobe, but you've gone for no ensuite, but still gone for 2 bathrooms,
Yeah.
but more connected to the rest of the house.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about concept design.
So concept design was really after buying the bit of land, that was the next cab off the rank really. We worked with Prime Design, so we're excellent. They sat down with us and kind of went through what's your budget, how big do you want the house to be, how many bedrooms, all that kind of scene setting kind of questions. And then also like, do you have any ideas about how you want it to look, which we did. And they start throwing together some rough plans from there, which you bounce back and forth several times to kind of get it exactly right.
In general, I would allow 2 to 3 months from initial booking all the way through to signed concept. And it sounds like a lot, and we can definitely do it quicker, but that allows for you to have a think about it, for us to get it priced correctly, right through to the point where you're like ready to pull the trigger on those drawings.
The important thing was that initial meeting because they used that to really get as close to the final position as they can.
You went to that first meeting prepared with a brief though, eh?
Yeah.
Like, we want 4 bedrooms. Me and you had talked about like kind of the cost of the build, and so we'd established like an upper limit to design to. You could even claw a little bit out of there. So one of the things I encourage all my clients to do is set a realistic budget right at the start and make sure they communicate that to everyone involved. Rather than that being a secret that you hold close and don't tell anyone, the more everyone in the process knows your budget, the more we can work together to make sure that we come in on time and on budget.
We'd also kind of drawn some ideas down on paper about what we thought it could look like. I think that gave them as much head start as they possibly could. If you do have ideas that you want to see come to fruition, then the more of that you can get into their head, the more likely they are to get to the final the first time. And the less you can go back and forth, the better, because it will start costing you more at some point the more time you take up, right?
Yeah.
We're doing it would be like 3 probably.
Yeah. In your mind, what would the gap be between the 2 windows? We'll then give you 2 revisions, then that's your chance to like fine tune it and make sure that everything on those pieces of paper captures the look, style, feel, size, budget of home you're trying to create. Can I have more than 2 revisions? Definitely. I've worked with a client who had 7 rounds of changes. Basically anything after the second revision just gets charged at an hourly rate. So revision 1 and 2 are included in the base rate, and anything after that is charged at an hourly rate. I would still recommend that you take the amount of revisions you need to get your plans looking and feeling the way you want. Don't just sign something off if you're not quite happy with it. How much of it was a balance between what you had in your head and what Prime pushed back on and said this could be better because of these reasons?
There's a bit of both going on. I don't know how much of each, but they were good about that. A good example was the ensuites. We didn't want an ensuite, which is probably an unusual call these days, and especially in a house like this. We did want 2 bathrooms. I mean, one was just a loo and one was the main bathroom, and we're happy to have it close as it is to the master bedroom, but we didn't want it part of it. It feels like we probably don't need that much room in the middle of the walk-in wardrobe. We just wanted a sliding so that we didn't waste space on the door.
Yeah.
This wall here is that one that Kate drew a line and we
moved it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like that. And then like now we are, it's gone from a line on a piece of paper to reality.
So you say, are you happy with it there? And I go, no, actually it was the wrong move, bring it back in.
Yeah.
The way it ended up was the bathroom was really the last piece of the puzzle to fit into the build. Everything else had been done around it, and based on kind of the way the sections laid out, the living area was obvious where that was going to go. The bedrooms, there was a limit how far we could push the bedrooms along that back wall because
of the edge
of the bank, and then we didn't want to be going out and over, or we were trying to avoid too much in the way of piles, and so kind of the house was built around those or designed around those, and then left over at the end was a spot in the middle for where the bathrooms are going to go. And so it's just trying to figure out how everything's going to fit together in that space and feel natural, and that's what took us a few goes to get right. We got it in the end. When we were sitting with primers, they just, well, how about we move this wall?
Yeah.
I think it was 50 centimetres out further, right?
This whole wall in the media room as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing how little, like, we're talking about we moved it that much, but how it makes these two spaces feel that much better.
Yeah. It was flush along here, wasn't it, I think, initially?
Yeah.
Or close enough to it. And so by pushing it further that way, that made a nice little nook for the bath to go in.
I think we made that slightly bigger too. I think that's a good example of, like, when it's on paper is the most cost effective time to change it.
Yeah.
I always say we can change it whenever you want,
Yeah.
but the later we leave it, the more it costs and the harder it gets.
Now that we're standing in the space, it was definitely the right call to push that wall out a little bit further. We actually did it solely for the benefit of the bathroom, but I probably actually am happier with the decision because of the impact it's had on the playroom on the other side of this wall. I think if the wall were further in, that would have felt small, but now it doesn't. And the bathroom feels spacious, which is good. So it was the right call.
So there's two stages to design. Stage 1 is concepts and stage 2 is working drawings. For the concept stage, we focus on, like, the layout of the house, the floor plan, how does the floor plan interact with the land, kind of like the bulk, shape, size, all those sort of things. And then once you are happy with the design and the price of the design, we send it to the technical stage, which is working drawings. Basically, Prime Designs turns 5 pages into 25 pages or more of consent drawings that go to the council to get approved for building. You can definitely change the design any point you want. However, the further into the build you get, the more costly it becomes. So what I suggest to my clients is that we spend the time right at concept design, making sure that those concepts capture everything you want in your design to avoid costly changes down the track. Well, Jeff, it's been fun hanging out in your bathroom. Boom, that's it.